We got caught up in stuff, and we got caught up in fear. So if I say anything, they might take my stuff. When the boss sit, we sit, that mentality hasn't changed. When I say, the moment we put the value on us, the moment we say, we're enough, we're valuable, that's when we change the story.
Hey, this is Mike. Welcome to Reelblack TV. We're with, I'm honored and privileged to have once again on the show. This is almost like Groundhog's Day. It's been about 11 years since we last had you on. But you know by face and voice and everything, Oscar winner, NAACP multiple times award winner, first woman to have a residency comedian in Las Vegas, and just doing it to death, and just something I'm really proud of, and just happy that you're willing to spend some time with us on Reelblack TV. Monique.
You know, I love the name Reelblack because I think sometimes we don't value ourselves and our blackness, and we treat one another as if we're unimportant or not as valuable. And I appreciate when people say, this is Monique's resume. But having my resume being a black woman, you're treated different than if you were a white woman. And oftentimes we do the treatment to one another. We do it. As I'm doing this interview now, we were supposed to do it Thursday.
Yes.
But you missed your flight.
True.
And you couldn't get here. And not consciously, but subconsciously, you never said, hey guys, I'm sorry. Like there's no email that I'm sorry. But because the value we place on us is so little, it's almost like, oh, you just know how it is. You just know what it is. So when I do these type of interviews and I'm asked the questions, oftentimes I'll say, let's stop asking the questions as if you're a journalist, and let's start talking like we're human.
Absolutely.
Because if we start dealing with each other in a human sense, then we don't begin to devalue us.
Right.
We always treat one another as if it's special, as if it's as we look at one another and say, wow, we're doing it. Right. And the reason why I said to you yesterday, I can't wait to talk to you, because I got to talk to you as my brother, and not as a journalist or a brother from Reelblack, but as my brother, to say the reason why we can be treated the way that this industry treats us, because it starts with our own brothers.
Oh, no doubt.
It starts right here with us. If I were Melissa McCarthy or Ellen DeGeneres, you would have got your ass to Vegas. It wouldn't have been, no, I missed my flight. You would have got your ass to Vegas, because that's an underlining conversation we don't have. We just know it's different rules. You got to treat one way and treat the other way.
Well, if that's how you felt, I sincerely apologize. But it was circumstances, that I could not control.
See, I understand that.
So,
but what happens is, it's just like when you sent the email to my husband saying, hey, I've been trying to get you cats for a while. And the first thing he said was, let me apologize. Because that wasn't our intent, not respond. So again, it is the way we
it's
treat.
mutual respect. I mean, what I get at is the reason I wanted to come here, and I spent my own money, I'm not making that much, to be here to specifically see you. We were supposed to do this in May, and you had another job. I would have, but I said, when Sydney said, hey, welcome to come anytime, I said, how about this date? She won't be here in August. I said, all right, then I will change it. And I made the decision to come here because of the first time that I met you.
Yes.
And I don't know if you even have any recollection of it, but towards the end of the interview, this is like for Welcome Home, Brother Charles, or Welcome Home,
Roscoe Jenkins.
Roscoe Jenkins. Shout out to Jamal Fanaka. But you said at that time, to my host, she said, like, look, this is all make believe. This isn't real. We're just having fun. This is our dream.
Yes.
And I don't, I don't know if you were saying that to make her more relaxed, or that's just how your perception of this whole business was, but it stayed with me. And I said, when I saw all the strife this world, this industry is putting you through so you can get to where you are now. And then I see the show, and it's like, clearly in 10 years, everybody grows. The
Yes.
changes, what you're talking about in your act, it's just, I wouldn't say 180, but I said, I have to be here. I have to represent. I have to celebrate.
My husband told me some years ago, he said, Mama, you're funny, but they don't know you. He said, we know the greats. We knew Richard Pryor. We knew Lenny Bruce. We knew their life. We knew their history. And they weren't worried about telling jokes. They just introduced us to who they were. He said, start letting people know who you are.
Right.
And you'll find that your show will become different, because now there's nothing you're pulling out the air.
Right.
It's just you. It's you saying, this is who I am.
Right.
And I take a pride in that, because when I'm on stage, we get beat up so much, Michael, especially our black men.
Yeah.
Beat up, beat down, messed over, messed around, cussed out, cussed on, and that's before y'all even leave home.
Right.
So when you come here, wherever I'm performing, it's like, for me, we're uplifting one another.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I have a hard time dealing with incompetence. I have a hard time dealing with us not giving us our best, and feeling comfortable with not giving us our best. When I did that movie Bessie, and I met this woman, Ma Rainey, and I met her through spiritually.
Yes.
And that woman said, I was okay with black. I was okay with black money. Black money got me my mansion. Black money made me comfortable to the day I left here. I didn't beg to play in their playground.
Right.
If they wanted to come in my playground, they were welcome.
Right.
But I didn't beg to go to theirs.
Right.
So the moment we start looking at one another saying, we enough.
Yeah.
We enough. Let's count on us. But in saying that, let's give us our best.
Well, amen to that. I mean, one of the things, we all woke up one morning, you had a big moment when you got on Instagram and said, we need to boycott Netflix.
Yes.
And my first reaction was, I don't know what Monique is talking about, because black people don't pay for Netflix. We got the hookup
Yes.
on Netflix. So I don't know how effective this boycott is going to be. But when people start coming at you on their personal, selfish
Yes.
perspective, I said, they're missing the whole point of the game. Netflix is getting buying low on this black entertainment, because Hollywood has no interest in financing somebody's first film or second film.
Yes.
They're taking the best, and people, once you sell to Netflix, you never see another dollar, and it's up to them whether or not they tell you, even if anybody watched it. So
Yes.
I said, that's a game that, Monique is trying to make people aware of, and that's why I said, I don't think people get it. I don't think they get the legacy, the wisdom. That's why I wanted to come. Just if you could share any wisdom.
When I said boycott Netflix, to this day I'm still unapologetic about it. I still stand behind it. I have not watched Netflix since I said, let's boycott Netflix, because what happens is, what they know about us, and I'll say white America or white Hollywood, what they know about us, they're not gonna stand together. All we gotta do is keep dangling this carrot. And they're racing to get the carrot. So see you later to that one. And I couldn't take it personally, because when you look in our history, who stood with Eartha Kitt? When she said, wait a minute, y'all, our school system ain't right. Who stood with Paul Robeson? When he said, wait a minute, y'all, who stood with Hattie McDaniel?
Right.
Who stood with those people? There wasn't a mass of us saying, who stood with Dr. King?
Right.
There was so many black people saying, oh, if this nigga don't just be quiet, especially in the black churches. So what I couldn't do was get offended at my people for saying, what is Monique doing? Because I understood the conditioning. I understand the fear.
Okay.
I understand the individuality. I got mine. You got to get yours.
Right.
So they've conditioned us and trained us so well that we'll sit back and say, we know it ain't right, but I ain't going to say nothing.
Yeah. Well.
We know it's wrong, but I watched a documentary on Kirk Flood,
Yes.
the brother that played baseball.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Come on
Free
now.
agency. Go ahead.
And when I watched that documentary, I was so hurt because that black man said, if I do this, will I ever play again? And his attorney said, no. He said, but if I do it, will it make it better for the next ones? And his attorney said, yes. Now what hurt my feelings was all the brothers he played with that were still alive, they all came on that documentary and said he was right. We were just too afraid. So y'all watched this man die in despair. Y'all watched this man's family fall apart because you were too cowardly to say anything. Well, we're still dealing with that right now today.
Well, I can tell you're in touch. You're in touch beyond the immediate. You're connected ancestors. You see this struggle as much longer than the immediate gratification spectrum that most people are kind of tuned and plugged into in 2019, 2020.
Well, when you have the juggernauts of our community telling us who got the biggest yacht, who got the biggest private jet, who got the biggest mansion, who got the biggest car, but ain't nobody saying who got the biggest love. Ain't nobody saying, let's show the value to our family. But when you're watching your Oprahs, your Tylers, your Lees, your Will Packers, and it's all about the material, well, what are we teaching our community? When you watch the Oprahs, the Tylers, and the Lee Daniels be cowardly and not say publicly, Monique ain't do nothing wrong. Monique's husband ain't do nothing wrong. Matter of fact, we agreed with them.
And Christian people, fundamentally, it's about forgiveness. When does forgiveness come into play?
Well,
or is it still a fear-based economy that we just exist in?
I don't think that forgiveness comes into play until you can admit that you need to be forgiven. See, oftentimes people say, well, just forgive them. Well, they ain't asked for forgiveness. So what is it that I'm forgiving? So
not you.
No. I'm just saying, just
in
general, people say, you just got to ask for, you got to forgive them. Well, they've not asked for forgiveness. So what is it that I'm forgiving? So we are in this space of, we got caught up in stuff and we got caught up in fear. So if I say anything, they might take my stuff. And as I sat on that sofa with my brother, Steve Harvey, and he tried to tell me all of what I was doing wrong. I mean, I know you're right, but you got to change the narrative.
It's a money game.
I know. And then you see what happened to my brother.
Yeah.
And I didn't applaud that because they did that to my brother, to our brother, because they said, we won't let you make this money and we not be a part of it. Yeah. And he was fourth in daytime, but we as a community didn't come together and say, hold up. We're not going to let y'all do that.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of us, you say colonized mind, when it comes to money, a lot of us have this plantation mentality.
Yes.
Like where, you know, if Massa hands somebody the whip to whip Mike or Monique, overseer is supposed to be a little lighter on the job, but instead, these cats whip you harder and harder. It's like they own the plantation, and it's not. It's nowhere near.
What Malcolm X say? When the boss sit, we sit. That mentality hasn't changed, and that's why my husband and I do the show, Monique and Sydney's Open Relationship, because we have conversations that most of us are afraid to have out loud.
Right.
We're afraid. It's like, oh, don't touch that. Oh, don't go there. Oh, don't touch Christianity. Oh, don't.
Right.
And that's why our community is suffering the way that it's suffering. So when I say, the moment we put the value on us, the moment we say, we're enough, we're valuable, that's when we change the story. But as long as we feel like white water tastes better, we're still going to be in this position.
Yeah, and it's a skin game in the sense that our skin is the commodity that everybody eats off of. We're the ones filling up the jails. We're the ones eating the fast food. We're the ones sitting and watching all this entertainment, you know, and they'll let us do it. They'll let us kill ourselves as long as there's a check coming, as long as you click past that ad or whatever.
Right.
Just, and more people are coming into this. You pioneered it. I just want, just to tell people, like, just take 10% of whatever you're getting out of the system and put it back, reinvest in yourself, reinvest in the next person. If you talk, everybody's Wakanda this, Black Panther, that movie would have never existed. I don't know if you're aware of this, if not for Forrest Whitaker, because he was the one that discovered Ryan Coogler for Fruitvale Station.
Wow.
So that's a $3 million movie. 2 movies later, he's got the biggest Marvel movie ever, and that's talent that was always there, but it took another brother to pull him out and give him a shot.
Yes.
And I think people have to reinvest not only in getting another house, but who's the next person. That's why I love you have your openers and Phyllis. The give back is so apparent in this show.
I would never consider Phyllis Yvonne Stickney an opener.
No.
Because of that woman.
I'm talking about Corey, but
oh yeah,
Corey's your opener, and then Phyllis is your middle. Yeah.
Phyllis blessed us because she's a legend.
Yes.
She's a vet.
Right.
So I could never call her my feature or my opener.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Because of that woman and women like her is why I can stand on the stages.
Okay.
Because oftentimes we don't get the notoriety. We don't get the paychecks. We don't. Name me one Black female comedian that is on the same level in reference to finances. Roseanne Barr, Melissa McCarthy, Ellen DeGeneres, Tina Fey, Rosie O'Donnell.
It hasn't happened yet.
It has not happened yet. And someone would say, why not? See, we'll honor Moms Mabley in her death, but to find out the biggest payday she had was a $12,000 check, and that was from her own people at the Apollo.
Right.
So when you say, well, run me down the list of the Black female comedians that's gotten the big paydays, you cannot. And someone would say, why not? And when you have our sister Whoopi Goldberg saying, you better not worry about the next one coming, that's why. That's why. Because they've taught us to only think about ourselves. Don't worry about the next one coming. Right now, you getting the popcorn with the extra butter. So don't worry about the next one. That's why they're still able to keep us at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, and anybody that's a corporate mentality, a tweet can ruin a 50-year career, you see, so it's not even whatever they say you did, the vindictive. Now, the curiosity. Now, when all that Oscar stuff was going down, was it you're in a different place? Was it ego or was it exhaustion? Because there was so much going on that year.
Well, his was beautiful. It wasn't ego. It was logical. Had nothing to do with ego. I fulfilled my obligation. My obligation was to Lee Daniels. You paid me $50,000. My obligation was to do the film. When the film was done, you asked me to do some promotions in the United States of America. I'm done.
Right.
Now y'all are asking me to go overseas to promote this movie. Guys, I wasn't paid to do that.
Right.
You've got to make that make sense. So I can't go promote a film and put more money in your pocket for your family, and that's my image.
Right.
I can't do that. So it had nothing to do with ego. It just had to make sense. But what we're used to doing is, Louis Gossett wrote a book, amazing book.
Yeah, right.
And he said, what Hollywood knows is what one nigga won't do, another nigga will. Well, this nigga wasn't. So it had nothing to do with my ego.
Right.
I had a talk show. I was on a comedy tour. I promoted the film in America. Now you want me to go overseas?
Right.
And you want me to do it for what? In hopes that you'll like me enough that you might consider me for something else?
Right.
It doesn't mean that to me. You've got to do it right now. You can't keep telling me we'll get him on the next one.
Right. And that's the fearlessness that most people live in fear. I think the comedian shaman job is to face your fear. I mean, I don't know if people realize how much dreams manifest the exact same way that fear does. And the more you put thought into something, the more likely it is to happen.
Yes.
So I don't know how you look at the karma that's surrounding all this, but I think you've become a much better person. I still, you're my queen, but
You know, I'm married to a king. And I'm married to someone that I trust and I believe in. This is my job. That's my life. That's my family. So what I can't do is get the two confused. And most of us do. And that's why when we get to the end of the road, we have no family, but we got a lot of stuff.
Right.
We can say, I got the biggest mansion. I got the biggest plane. I got the biggest yacht. I've got all of this stuff. But I ain't got nobody when I go home at night and say, you know, my feet hurting. You know, my back hurt. You know, I got cramps that are unbelievable. You know, I'm just shitty right now.
You married your soulmate. You married your best friend.
I married my best friend. I married someone that when all of this shit hit the fan, that man looked at me and said, we gonna be okay. And I said, Daddy, I believe you.
So God blessed you even more. I gotta give it up to you. So, you know, here's the thing for me. It's about inspiration, empowerment. You certainly shared a lot. I really appreciate you for taking the time. But I know there's people out there watching. They still want that. Yeah, they still want the trophy, and there's nothing wrong with it. But there's a price to be paid for everything, and you want a few to go through that door. But I know when people, and you're great at painting pictures with words and all this stuff, when people feel the inspiration, just like the 4-minute mile, people said that could never be done. And when somebody broke through, now the next year, everybody's running 4-minute miles. I think that moment that you accepted that trophy was a moment that more people like us, like you, could say, I could do this. But
that trophy didn't mean that to me. That Oscar did not mean that to me. When I got that award, it did not mean, oh, I'm opening the door for my other brothers and sisters, because it didn't have that weight for me. It didn't, because it's never done anything that I could see for a black woman that's won it that it's done for our white sisters or our white brothers. So I didn't have that, oh, I got an Oscar, but that damn Image Award.
All right, take us to the Image Award. The night before your first Image Award, you have many. I don't. Where's the Oscar? Is it still in the house?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't like do a Muhammad Ali with it. It's not in the base somewhere. You kept that.
I'm grateful for every award I've ever gotten.
Okay, so
grateful for everyone.
That was a joke.
But
the Image Award. Okay. Finish.
Right.
So the night before that Image Award.
Yes.
For the Parkers, right?
Was that the first Image Award? Yes.
So what thought goes through your mind when you say, "Wow, this possibility is about to come true"? The night before, what kind of things are going through your mind? Bring the emotion to us, so that people who
you know, I can remember as a kid, and I watched the Oscar, and I didn't see anybody that looked like me. I cut it off. I'm like, this doesn't entertain me, and I'm not looking at any of those people saying one day, excuse me, I want that. It never did that to me. But when I saw the Image Award and everybody looked like me and everybody was dressed up and beautiful, and I was like, oh my God, one day I want to be there. One day they're going to call my name, and one day, and I would practice what I was going to say, and I had the brush in my hand and the towel wrapped around me, and that one day came. And I'm sitting in that audience, and they read off the names for Best Actress in a sitcom or a comedy, and when they say Monique, I was that little girl in my bathroom mirror with the brush in my hand.
Wow.
So when I say to all the little girls watching, words are powerful, and so are your thoughts. You can manifest what it is that you want as long as you're willing to put the work in to get it. As long as you put the work in to get it. And that was one of the proudest moments of my career in Hollywood. Was the first night they called my name for that Image Award.
I love it. Now we got the wrap up. I love it. Thank you so much for that. So when can, if you're not in Vegas, when can we see you again? Because people, not everybody can be here, but it's really magic. You cleanse the room. People, it's a different. I've never felt this kind of laughter, and I've been to hundreds of comedy shows. I've never felt this kind of laughter because it's just on another level where you've taken your mastery of communicating. So people work, if they weren't here for the residency, where can they see it?
If you weren't here for the residency, shame on your ass. Now, shame on your ass. You know, you can always go to my Instagram page or our YouTube channel, Monique Worldwide, to find out where we're going to be. People say, Monique, what's next? Right? You know what I tell them? I hope tomorrow. Because today was so amazing. If I just get to see tomorrow, how beautiful would that be?
All right, I appreciate that, Monique. I love you.
Thank you, brother.
So now, did we have fun?
Did we have fun?
Did we just have a good time?
Let me tell y'all what we just did. Because Michael and I had to have a brother and sister conversation before we could have this conversation. And what I appreciated was you said, let me apologize. Wait a minute. I ain't mean that. Because we have a hard time saying I'm sorry, which can make a situation go so different. We had a love conversation, which I think is better than a journalist talking to a talent.
I'm scared of you, Monique. I don't need you up all night on Ancestry looking at my relatives.
Don't y'all give y'all information to these Ancestry shit. Now what they doing with our information?
Yeah, have me up and Helen and calling people's names out of the sky.
I love you, baby.
Messing up people's lives. I don't need that. Not for Monique, my queen.
Thank you, brother.
I love you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Hi, I'm Monique, and you're watching Real Black.